Yo, what's good? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room yet again, always with another one. And yes, it is another one. So apparently, over in Pakistan, they've passed a bill, law, whatever you want to call it, mandating, stating that at the end of the day, the men in Pakistan have to take on a second wife. They have to. This is a law that they've just passed that, you have to do this as a man. It's no choice around it. And, to be forced to do something like that, because of course over here in America, it's a whole different mindset, like to be forced to take on, a wife, period. That, the government will put a law in place that you need to actually marry a woman. You have to, and things like that. And it's crazy out here. This is crazy. So let's go here now. Let's check this out. Let's put these quarters, nickels, and dimes in on the times.
Yo, madam, listen to me very carefully. Yo, you are living the life now from now on. You know what? Everyone want to get married, two wives, but you can't do this in the UK. But guess what? In the Pakistan, new law, you have to get married twice. If you got one wife, you need to get another wife. And if you don't, bro, you go in jail. And you have to pay a fine. And if your missus said to you, oh, you're not allowed to get married, bro, she's going to jail. So, you know what? Don't delay. Book your ticket, yeah? Go to Pakistan right now. And what I was going to say, share this video, send to everyone.
Okay, now he's coming from a place to where like he's like, this is exciting to him. Okay,
what the French toast is there to
that's
think about?
he's coming from that place. And I get it, you know what I'm saying? Passport bros, situation, stuff like that, maybe. But for the men that actually grew up in that country, that actually reside in that country, things like that, the average man in that country, to be forced to take on, something that he hadn't planned on taking on as a man. Yes, this is a whole situation for him.
What the French toast is there to think
Okay.
about?
Regardless or not, and things like that. And I know some places in the Middle East, you can't have more than one wife. It is legal. But for Pakistan to say that they're going to put a law into place that you have to do this. You have to do this. This is not something that you have built yourself up financially to do and things like that, that you have to do this, whether you built yourself up financially or not, in order to take on this extra this extra weight out here. It's crazy that they're putting things like this into place. But of course, I'm looking at it from Western eyes. As an American, that would be um crazy and unconstitutional, that they would make you take on a wife or make you have to marry a woman in this country. You have to think about the dynamics of that. If this country, if America forces you to marry a woman, forces you now, this is not by choice what Pakistan is doing. And I mean, that's their country. They can do what they want to do. All I'm saying is, though, thinking about it from an American standpoint, if they force you to take on a wife, and you may not, be that type of man, like you may just not want a wife, or you just, like it's not in you to do that. Man, come on, man. Come on out here, man. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous here. This is wild.
You can't make this shit up.
Can't make this shit up out here. All right, so we finna go here now. Let's check out what this sister has to say and things like that. And yeah, she she's engaged with it. Let's go here now. Let's see what she has to say.
Hoy I'm not laughing, okay, because there's a bill that's just been passed in Pakistan to say that every man has to have 2 wives. Okay, and they have to be burdened with that responsibility. Let's not call it a burden, shall we? To look after them, because there's too many women in Pakistan now, and the men have to step up their game, and they have to work their butts off, and they have to provide for their women. OMG. There's too many unmarried women in Pakistan, and
Okay, then shit, that ain't the average man's problem.
Well, you're right, man.
Oh, I'm right. You'll see.
That ain't the average man's problem. Wow. And see, you know, of course, being raised differently with a different mindset, things like that. Maybe those men over there feel like that would be their duty to take on women that do not, technically want them. And like the previous man just said, like even if you're married already and your wife disagrees with it, you can get she can get prison time, and you get prison time as well. You could actually go to jail over there now for not wanting to take on an extra wife. This is it's wild. That's some wild thinking. We have to really think about this, because to be honest with you, definitely over here in America, it's starting to be, the women are starting to outnumber the men, of course, which is, it's always been. But wow, if a serious tragedy was to break down and the government's like, listen, look, we're not going to do this. You men have to, take these women under your wing and stuff like that, whether you have the money to do so or not. Oh Lord, it's crazy. All right.
because of that, they have now passed this bill. Tell me what your thoughts are. Obviously, nobody wants to be a second wife, but over there's a different level of lifestyle. I mean, you've got a lot of poor people, and these women are being neglected, and they are being made public property. So the man, being the responsible protector and the provider, has to do and play his role in accordance with. Now, wasn't there something in the Quran that said there would come a time where there would be more women than men? And this is that moment. If you are still on the fence about whether or not we're heading towards the end of times, get off the fence, people, because it doesn't have to be slap in your face. But how huge is this news for not only just the Pakistani communities, but anywhere else where there are more women? Personally, I wouldn't have to be. I mean, obviously, I have a choice. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, cool. She has a choice, but the thing of this is, and yes, it does say in the biblical text that there will come a day where there will be more women than men, and of course, if you look at the statistics, we are at that point to a degree. Now, listen, look, I mean, shit, I'm not gonna lie to you. Thank God half these women over here in America actually can get some fucking jobs out here. Listen, look.
What the French toast is there to think about?
Because the conditioning that we have over here in America, some shit like this a law like this get passed, man. This not gonna work over here. This is not gonna work. Not with the type of chicks that we're dealing with out here. I mean, sorry, but it's the truth. No, to be forced to do something like this, it is going to be a huge problem. I'm thinking about them over there economically, stuff like that, which the government, of course, they don't have all these incentives and things like that. Like our government in the United States actually gives women subsidies, things like that, especially when they have children out of wedlock, all types of stuff. They, of course, they don't have all that in Pakistan. And what I'm thinking about is, yes, will the government give incentives to these individuals, to these men, for taking on extra wives? You know, just like the government over here, we have certain tax breaks when individuals get married and stuff like that, when, you know, versus people being solo. And that go for both men and women over here. It's certain tax breaks and stuff like that that the government gives for people, you know, getting together versus being single. So yeah, it does make a huge difference in things like that. But Jesus, man, to be forced to do something like that, and even, you know, your wife, even if you have a wife and, you know, she's not in agreement with it and you're not in agreement with it, like both y'all gonna go to jail because you don't want to take on an extra woman in your household that's not actually, you know, in agreement, and she may not even be in agreement with coming into your household as well. That's another thing too. You know, the outside chick may not even may not even want to be a part of your family as well. So you're dealing with a woman that's not wanting to be a part of your family, and you're dealing with your wife, if you already have one, that doesn't want this extra woman around. If you're content as a man and only want to deal with one woman, because, you know, listen, look, most men that understand women's nature, I mean, Jesus Christ, who wants to deal with this extra fucking headache? Like, you know,
What the French toast is there to think about?
it's already enough out here.
You can't make this shit up.
You know, whether we like this or not, you know, the men that, you know, want wives and stuff like that, you know, we know, you know, we understand. Like sometimes women can be a little headache. It is what it is. But yeah, though, to be forced to take on something like that, man, Jesus, wow. Pakistan, what y'all doing, man? What y'all doing? What y'all doing? Hey, they say they don't care. The government not finna take care of none of them broads out there. For real though. They don't care. All right, let's dive off into this one. Let's see what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man. Wow. Okay.
Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? Pakistan has passed me is quite disturbing. Starting this year, every man has to have at least 2 wives. Work hard, take care of both wives and the kids. In Pakistan, this is the law. And here's why they passed the bill. Because there are too many single women in the country. Pakistan has a higher male population to the female. Listen again. Higher male population to the female. But the mortality rate of male is way higher than the female. And this is a common thing in the Islamic nations. Now, think about this for a minute. If with the current state of the country, men are dying younger than the woman in Pakistan, what will be the case when men have more than one wife, when their responsibilities are doubled by constitution? And I have friends who have more than one wife, and I can promise you this, ladies and gentlemen, it's still not sufficient for them. They still cheat.
Hey. Hey, what'd he say? What'd he say? They still cheating out there. Wow. So wow, it's still cheating going on in Pakistan, which, you know, hey, human nature now. Human nature. So both the women and the men got to be doing the cheating now. Now, he didn't specify, you know, the genders that were doing the cheating. But, you know, let's just keep this real. You know, we know women's nature. Like, you know what I'm saying, regardless of how much she try to cover up out there, I guarantee you she's still busting it down. Somewhere. All them single women. So if they having an issue out there with a bunch of single unmarried women, even if a man is married or a single man out there, you know, and it's still single women, them chicks still busting it down. So man, all right, okay. Y'all can sit around here and play around here. We already see what we dealing with over here in America. You know, just imagine how much more sneakier things going down right there. And then, you know what I'm saying, like he just said, the rate of of course the younger men that are engaged in all the stuff that go on in Pakistan. We know, we didn't heard about it, You know, I don't want to name names. Okay, I really don't. Of those groups, you know, that reside in those areas and stuff like that, which of course, you know, when you go to war, you recruit the youngest of men that you can. You know, ain't no 65-year-old man out there going to war. I mean, you know. So yeah, it's wild out here. Okay, then. So yeah, don't stop cheating. All right.
So having more than one wife hasn't proven to solve infidelity problems neither. But when men are now given the constitutional right to marry more than one wife when the first wife is still alive, reason being that there are too many unmarried women around, that's going to temporarily solve a single women problem, but create a long-term economic and quality of life crisis for the people of Pakistan. Will the government be funding these types of marriages? No. So how will the men financially keep up with this lifestyle? And because it's now a law, will the government enforce and make sure that all men have more than one wife against even their wishes? Life is getting hard and difficult and expensive by the day, and a country which has just experienced a population explosion some 2 decades ago is still more concerned about wives than solving the real social problems which Pakistan faces on a daily basis. Isn't that interesting? Pakistan is rated at lower middle income country with poverty at 40% of the population. The Muslim majority population already can marry up to 4 wives, and now they want the Hindus and the minority Christians to follow up and do the same. I think the priorities of the leadership of this country is problematic at this time, especially. Just weird.
Yo, hey. So, of course, you know the Muslims can, you know, marry things like that, like you said, but you know, of course, the Christians, you know, and each religion works different, you know, and man, wow. But we're not gonna get off into the religious side of it. We're gonna stay on the actual government side of this situation and try to break this down. This is crazy right here that the government is gonna force men and their wives, if they're already married, to take on an extra wife, you know, in order to think that they're going to solve this problem. And they're going to force people to be together and things like that. And that's, of course, that's not going to solve the problem. You know, that's not going to solve a fucking problem at all. You're going to force a woman to be with a man, and then and then she's going to have to come into that man's household with, you know, he may be with the woman that he's already been married to for, you know, a number of years, things like that. Their household working good. She's actually a dutiful wife to said man, but then you're going to force another woman to come in that has no real pair bonding skills with said man and things like that, or you know, anything else with that family. You're just gonna force a outside woman to come in and just like, listen, look, dude, you need to take care of her, regardless of what you feel or think, or you know, what your finances are or whatever. You know, you're just gonna force her to, you know, then force him to take on this extra mouth to feed, let alone if there are other children involved and things like that. Man, it's a whole disaster out here. That's crazy.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
That's wild. Jesus, man. So Pakistan is just going to force people into marriages to get around the fact that there are more single women that are starting to pop up because of, you know, the death rates of young men and things like that, that they're not able to, you know, of course, you know, grow up and take on women and things like that. Man, okay. Ooh, man, and y'all be, you know, and listen, look, America not perfect, but Jesus Christ, at least they're not forcing us to marry bats out here. I mean, Jesus Christ. Wow. But it is what it is, though, man. Hey, shout out to all my subscribers out there. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure that you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
that, my friends, is the bottom line.